And we're off. We're recording. Hi, my name is King Fred. I'm a Vinyl Vandal, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the Vinyl Vandals even later on. And below me, on my screen, we have
John. I'm a Vinyl Vandal as well, and next to us is.
Hi, my name's James Watson, and I'm from live in Darlington.
Okay, cool. So thanks for joining with James.
Pleasure.
What we're doing today is we are doing our little segment we call the Favourite Five. Not to be confused with the Famous Five. This is the Favourite Five. And what we ask is if you can pick your... What I asked you to do over Facebook was to pick your favourite 5 albums, either 5 USA or 5 UK.
Yeah.
Today you've chose which, UK or USA?
I've gone for UK.
Great.
British.
Brilliant. But we will be coming back to you in the future and asking you to also then tell us your favourite American.
Okay.
And a little bit after that, we'll come back again and we'll ask you to pick your favourite 5 UK 12s and then your favourite 5 USA 12s.
Okay, right, cool, okay.
And somewhere along the line, we might even come back and ask you for your favourite non-hip-hop albums as well.
Yeah, I'll be up for a bit of that. Yeah, I've got plenty of those.
We'll come back and talk about that as well. So
okay.
To be continued on that level. Okay.
Nice.
So
nice.
just to set the scene, the Vinyl Vandals is 4 of us. So shout out to Julie, who's a Vinyl Vandal, and DJ Riddler, who incidentally you can catch every Monday night on Try Radio from 8 till 9, giving you all that good stuff in UK and USA hip hop and a little bit more besides. And sometimes if you tune in, you can also catch them giving away some free stuff from time to time. You never know when that's going to be. But we'll have some competitions and stuff that we can also throw in as well. So DJ Riddler is our resident DJ for the Vinyl Vandals. Me, John, and Julie dabble a little bit on playing stuff, but we're not DJs. Riddler's our DJ. But you will in the future see some mixes from me and John, hopefully. We'll get ourselves sorted. We just need to learn how to actually make it record and put it onto a laptop. But we'll get there. Don't worry. We're not technophobes. We'll get there. So we do.
It's all about the love, Fred. It's all about the love.
It is about the love, and it definitely is about that. Definitely is about that. And we definitely love our hip hop here in the Vinyl Vandals. Okay.
Nice.
We like other kinds of music, but hip hop's what we love. Yeah. So without further ado, I suppose it's best to hand it over to you, James, and just tell us a little bit about who you are. I know you're James Watson, but who are you?
Right. I'm James. I'm 46, 47 next month, and I'm a Southerner, as you can tell by my accent. Don't sound like you lovely gents. And I'm originally from Oxford and that area, and I moved up due to family back in 2006 to Darlington in County Durham. I'll never move back down south. I love it up here. It's brilliant. That's the first thing. And so what I've, being a massive music lover all my life, and I decided whilst I was up here, I got involved with the Forum Music Centre, which is a venue in Darlington, and I'm non-executive director there. I also run Darlington Film Club, and I show classic and cult films every Monday at the Forum on a big screen. And I've also had various different events with all sorts of people, from showing breakdance movies with B-boys and all sorts of stuff going on, as well as having Flash Gordon himself there. Sam Jones was there, and I've had all sorts of Carry-On stars and Bond stars and all sorts. So I do that, and also I DJ in town, and I've DJ'd up north as well in Newcastle, and back down south, I DJ'd various after-show parties for bands and things as well. So, it's all about the love, mate. That's all it is.
Always busy, yeah? That's what I like to hear. And also, obviously, we'd just like to take this opportunity again to thank you. You had me and Riddler and John and Julie up doing a little bit of a Vinyl Vandals warm-up show for the Stereo MCs, which was great. And thanks for having us there. And hopefully we can do that again in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting you've just said that there as well about obviously putting your films on, because I forgot you did that. We were wanting to, just before all of this happened, all of this Hurricane COVID struck, to put something on around, I've got a lot of DVDs of old UMTV Raps.
Oh, nice.
I
Excellent.
think it'd be cool if we could maybe work together on putting like a UMTV Raps night on where we could have DJs on, but also playing some of the films.
No, I'll be well up for that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll get
that sounds good.
that.
Yeah, I know some breakdancing crews here as well, and obviously you guys know that.
All right. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it'd be good fun.
And also at some point when we are allowed back out again and we're allowed to do live stuff again, we'd love to have you up here as well. So
cool.
With us as well, because we're always wanting to do stuff as well, you know.
Yeah,
Not just for the wider family,
good.
you know, like the rest of the Tri Radio family, and also sure Sandy doesn't mind the saying this, but you know, like everybody else that does stuff up here anyway. So, you know, Tri Radio, the Bridge crew, all of that. It'd be great if we just do something again in the future.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Show. Okay.
Nice.
So, first question to you is, why hip hop? Why? How did you get into hip hop?
Okay. Let's go back in the midst of time. And what happened was, it was around about, I think it's probably about 83, possibly 84 it would have been. And it was the first Electro Street Sounds album came out. A friend down the road had it. He had a massive stereo, and it was one of these stereos where it probably took about 12 of the big, thick Duracell batteries. And it was a fantastic stereo. And you pulled down the front, and there was a turntable on this stereo. It was the bee's knees. It was amazing. Have you got one?
Oh, yeah.
Worth a fortune now, but it was absolutely brilliant. So we were all pretending that we were sort of like, you know, all doing all this all stuff and whatever. And but the thing what really got me was my friend Jason at the time. He lent me a 7-inch, and it was Prince "Let's Go Crazy" 7-inch, and I was this is amazing, and I loved it. But from there, I was then taken on to Shaka Khan. And I Feel For You, and of course you got the rap in that, and I'd heard rapping in the past, but that was the thing what really got me. And then from there it just went on, and then of course it was so 85 I started secondary school, and it was just coming into Yo Bum Rush the show, and that's it. It just went on from there.
Okay, so, nice one. So just you're mentioning Chaka Khan there. I'm going to give you a bit of trivia for everybody who doesn't know this. I bore everybody with this, but I love it. Quite a few people know, but if you don't know, my dad's younger brothers, 2 of his younger brothers, because he's got quite a few, 2 of them came from Ghana and formed a band called Osibisa.
Yeah, got some of the vinyl. Got some of their vinyl here.
Should hope so. Good stuff.
Man. Got
and their biggest hit was a song called Sunshine Day. But when they were on the rise, just before they got to the peak of their success, when they were touring in America, my uncle Teddy, one of my dad's brothers, one of the founding members, one of the main founding members of Osibisa, he started dating a certain aspiring singer. That singer was called Chaka Khan.
No way.
Yeah, he was dating Chaka Khan for a while, and they were, apparently they were well in love with each other. However, Osibisa just went boom. And he had to go and tour all over the world, and it just sort of fizzled out because he was all over the place.
Oh, what a shame!
Never quite hit it off. But yeah,
she's a gorgeous.
Might have been the anti-Shaka. You never know.
Shaka, love it.
Yeah,
outstanding.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for that.
All right.
So this age-old thing about some people don't respect UK hip hop. I've had a love-hate relationship with it over the years. This time you've chose UK. Why did you feel as though you had to choose UK?
There was 2 reasons. One, because I got quite a bit of it on vinyl, and also because the last video with Riddler, he did US. So I thought, let's swap it up. When you said I was going to be the next one, I thought, right, I'm going to go UK. End off. There you go. Simple.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Simple.
Okay. Is there anything you want to see at the moment, John? Are you all right so far?
Yes. Before you choose your top 5, okay? Well,
yeah.
Have you got any honourable mentions that you were about to put in your top 5, but you thought no? Or was there too many?
No, I'll tell you what.
We'll let you cheat, James, because the trouble with Riddler and with John is they're always trying to get more than 5 in. They can't count. Okay.
Right,
what
okay.
we'll do is we'll think of it as a five-a-side football team, and we'll have two on the subs bench. You're only allowed two. So you're cheating, John.
Okay.
Hold on. I was playing. There we go. Okay. Right. So first honourable mention then is going to be this one, which I actually played today, and it's still amazing. Overlord X, Weapon is my lyric.
I've got that.
Absolutely fantastic album. I mean, it just at the time when it came out, I had it on tape. I didn't have it on vinyl, and it was just because of that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just taken by an album cover. I mean, yeah. If you invite me back to do the video with bands which aren't hip hop, my favourite band of all time, wearing the T-shirt, got the tattoo, is the Brand New Heavies, which again is also they're very well linked as well with hip hop anyway. But I got into them because of an album cover. Simple as that. And they've taken over my world as easily one of the best bands in the world to me personally. But this, I mean, his lyrics are just amazing, and he's just
put it away. Next one. Come on.
Right, second on
not the top 7. You're naughty, you.
I'll just keep my mouth shut. I'll keep my mouth shut from now on.
Your Riddler's clue on you.
Oh man, where is it? Hold on, where is it? There we go. Right, okay. Gets a lot of dissing, but because I think he was probably one of the first UK hip hop artists who entered the charts.
I know who you're going to say. I know what this album is.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's classic.
From a gun.
He gets lots of love round here in this house. He gets lots of love in this house.
This is a killer of an album. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, if this man had bless him, rest in peace, if he had lived, I think he could have gone on to do even better things and come back with even better. And if you listen to this, just things like the track Power Move, for example, on this album, it's got lots of US theme to it. You can hear lots of US influence, but he's like, to quote Rebel MC, no, I'm a London. But the fact is, he is, you can tell that he's UK, and this is a killer of an album. Again, back in the day, I just bought tapes.
But you didn't
it's not one of my top 5.
So get it away.
It's not one of my top 5, Fred. Put it away. It's gone.
All right, without further ado, let's go to your first album. What's your
right? Okay,
album?
So first album, you've already mentioned them. I'm going to take you way back to a bit of hip hop connection. Okay. Oh man.
Boom.
Oh, here we go. Hip hop connection. This one is August 1989, number 7. This cost me £1. £1, right? Anyway, I'm going to go straight to, I don't know if it's got page numbers. Page 11. Here we go. Stereophonic Rap. Hold on, that way there. There it is. Okay. So I heard. I'm trying to think what song it was. I think it was probably on 33. I heard this track, and I think it was on either Tim Westwood's Capital FM show back in the day, or it could have been Jeff Young on Radio 1.
Okay.
And I thought, what's this? Who is this? And I had to know who these were. I mean, of course, I was heavily into Ice-T Power. I was into, It Takes a Nation, PE, and all these things just being influenced onto us. All and then all of a sudden there was this Stereo MCs. Not only are they're not from London, they're from Nottingham, and they'd moved down to London. And I had to just get involved. And there was me and my mate Naughty Neil. And me and Naughty Neil, we had to go straight into Oxford, and we had to just try and get this album or whatever we could find. And so my first album is 33, 45, 78.
Cool. I have that album.
Look at this.
Signed.
Got it signed.
Signed, bad boy, signed. Yeah. Signed by Rob B, and then the head, which is Nick, and also Kath as well. He's one of the singers. He's been with the band throughout, right from start to finish. So this is a band I thought I need to get involved in. I've got every single album of theirs on vinyl.
Okay.
And this, I think it took their sound. Every album they've got, they just progressed every single time. But this album, to me, is essential British UK hip hop listening. Simple as that. I was listening to, or so I was reading some comments. I think it was on Discogs or something like that about what people thought of this, and the love that this album has got is unbelievable.
It's unusual because it was all, to me, they were always. I've got the album. It's sitting across there on my right shoulder there.
Yeah.
My little racks. But it was always put across, at the time that I remember, because he attracted a lot of the sort of like the rave scene type people.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was always like sort of like, I mean, I'm talking about in my circles, I've got, as you know, for those who don't know, I've got quite a bit of family down in London, so my cousins and, people that were into hip hop down there and their friends and people I've made friends with down there. And it was always touted as being, they were always seen as being a bit of a sort of like outside of hip hop a bit. You know what I mean?
I think it would not probably so much early on, personally, I don't think, but later on with the Connected album, which is what, about 93, 94, I think, by then they were remixing Madonna and they were on tour with the Happy Mondays or whoever, do you know what I mean? And I think then, yes, and, they're on every, Connected or Step It Up is on every single, 90s compilation or whatever. But and don't get me wrong, Connected is an amazing album. In fact, I love all the stuff they've done, but very biased. But this is just, and I told this, back in January when you guys were DJing for Stereo MCs and warming up for them, and you did a grand job, by the way. And I said to Nick, the main guy behind the beats and stuff, I said, this is such an important record to me. And I think he was quite taken with it. And he sort of said, "Oh, yeah, I really appreciate that." And but I think it's absolutely brilliant. And in my opinion, it doesn't have a duff track on it.
No, I like it. Don't get us wrong. The other interesting thing that always strikes me, if you just hold it up to the camera a bit more so we can see it a bit more, that's it. If you look at it, they're in the b-boy stance. I think that's all you need to know. Do you know what I mean?
And there's three of them.
There's three of them in the b-boy stance, and it's like, So we know what the credentials are, If you look at that album, when you were talking before about albums, to me, if you were in a record shop looking through that tells me that that's hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Form,
You can tell just from the stance on the back as well, can't you? Tracksuits, the way that they look cool.
At least at least it tells you by looking at it that it's hip hop influenced.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got to be a bit careful because remember, he's 17. Used to sort of dress up a bit like that as well, You know what we thought about them, and Blazing Squad as well.
That's very true. But what I like about this album is the fact that it was taken in by the hip hop community, like hip hop connection.
Yeah.
Double spread of them in there, and it's just the fact that they were taken on. And it was from this, and then the second album, and then Connected, which became a worldwide hit for them. It was just humongous. But they toured even. Reading that interview, which I read from earlier, before this album came out, they were still touring Europe. So they'd really pushed themselves as a band first, sort of get out there. And so they were all over the place. And it's just why now Rob B, the main rapper, and the head, Nick, they tour over just as a duo as Stereo MCs, and they're DJing, and they've got their own Connected album now, which is releasing out 12 inches and albums from artists from all around the world. And it's they're just, again, I've said it before, it's all about the love with these guys. It really is. I mean, they really are pushing different genres of music as well.
I'm not a major fan of theirs, but obviously when we DJed, when you had this guest in there, we were all struck with the energy that they put in. There's not many artists now like actually put that much energy into a show. It meant a lot to them, and put that energy in. I've seen them at festivals where they're bouncing on the stage and the whole crowd's doing this. And I've seen them in a small club in Leeds, and even smaller, which is a 200 capacity venue. And that's why I was so pleased I got someone like the Stereo MCs at the Forum. The place was just going mad for him. That's just what I was going to say. No disrespect to the Forum, but it is a small venue, isn't it?
Yeah.
So sold out.
It sold out quick,
And it didn't make that much difference to them because I've been going to gigs for years. From my days of liking punk and reggae music all the way through to liking hip hop. And one thing I know is when artists come to a show and it's like there's not many people there, especially when they come to Newcastle, which always tends to not be as heavy about the fan base. They put a lackluster show on, you know, like
yeah. Oh, you didn't get that at the forum.
No,
Yeah.
You know,
They loved it. Talking to them after the gig, they were sort of saying, you know, they couldn't believe how much energy was in that room, you know, and it's just nice to get people like that who actually, you know, okay, we are a small forum at the sort of small venue at the forum, but when people come along and they can see that people are just there, you know, to really enjoy themselves and have a good night. You know, I mean, you guys have been there a couple of times. You know, we've done a couple of hip hop things in the past as well, haven't we, with local acts and stuff. And and you know, when people are enjoying themselves, the forum is a great venue for it. You know, it really is.
Every time I've been,
I was going to say that was the first, obviously for the second MCs, that was the first time I've been there.
And was it? Or did you not come to the early ones that we did in front of them? Oh, right, okay, right.
The sound system you've got there, I was like, whoa, just the bass. I was like, it was amazing. I was like, really
and you know what, John? It's got even better because the forum has luckily been awarded some money from a grant. And during lockdown, we've been buying extra bits. So the lights, the sound, it's going to be out of this world for such a small venue. And that's why I'm hoping that after lockdown and everything else, and people swarm back safely, of course, back to grassroots venues. Because if you don't have these things, you don't have open mic nights, you don't have, you know, all these small little gigs and small nights, which people have got to do it. And then the forum, we've got a studio, we've got recording, rehearsal rooms. All these things are being used by local rappers, hip hop acts, bands. You know, all these things are being used on a regular basis. You know, so we just need to keep the people switched on. That as soon as it's for safety to do, get back in these venues and support.
You've got our support. You know that, and we'll always
appreciate that.
Because, you know, it's in our blood. We love it. You know what I mean? We travel up and down the country. You know, we'll jump in a car, a train, and we'll be there. So
exactly.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks for that.
All right, no worries.
I just thought of something there. I was telling you.
You haven't asked me one question, have you?
What's that?
You haven't asked me the main question.
What's the main question?
What's my favourite track on the album?
You said it?
Hey, do you want to know?
Yeah, go on. I thought you had said it before.
No, I haven't, because you haven't asked me.
I'm asking you now then.
Okay, mate, right, here we go. Well, as much as I've got the love for On 33, my favourite track is actually Bring It On. It's, I think it's first track of side 2. Yeah, it is. Party, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Let's do it. Absolutely killer of a tune. So, yeah, that's my favourite track. There you go.
Yeah. What I was going to say is when I was telling you about my little ghetto blaster with a record player, and my friend gave us it at the start of the year just before COVID.
All right.
I just want to give him a shout out, James Pyle. Respect to you because I love it. Goes out in the garden.
Does it work?
Yeah, goes out in the garden, gets me 7 inches on, boom, it's done. It's
nice.
It's mint.
Excellent. You have to send me a picture. I want to have a look. I want to have a look at it, Fred.
Yeah. When we finish, I'll nip round because you're the side of this table here. I'll get it.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So, next album.
Okie dokie. Right. Well, my next album. So, not far from Oxford. So we're in Oxfordshire, and you've got to remember this is early 90s now. So all my albums are all within 4-year period as well, just to let you know that. Okay. So Stereo MCs is 89. So we're going to fast forward a couple of years now. So just down the road from Oxford in Buckinghamshire is these guys. Caveman.
Wickham, is it?
High Wycombe, that's right. Yeah. So High Wycombe, Positive Reaction.
Yeah.
Absolutely blew me away when I heard this. I thought it was amazing because they got so many samples from so many different soul and jazz legends like Marvin Gaye, Roy Ayers is on it, even to rock god Jimi Hendrix. How on earth these guys, right, 3 blokes from High Wycombe, have managed to get all these? I don't know. I'm hoping. Well, it probably did because it's all on profile, isn't it? But I'm hoping, it all got cleared and stuff. But just the start, of Troglodyte history, first of all. I mean, Jimmy Castor Bunch and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, this is amazing. And from this album, I actually found so many samples, which actually led me to, I've got the love for the hip hop all the time, but my main love and what I DJ mostly now in Darlington is soul and funk and acid jazz. That's my thing now, because a lot of these hip hop albums, especially the ones we're talking about today, they led me into acid jazz.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm usually wearing an acid jazz t-shirt, or I'm doing, it's all about that for me. But this album, so important. And it was one of the first albums I remember hearing, which had actually sampled another hip hop group, because it samples Eric B and Rakim on this. And I was thinking, what? And I've never come across that. This is hip hop people who are meant to be sampling old school, not hip hop, sampling hip hop. What's that about? Loved it, absolutely loved it. And it's because of that. I thought the second album was good, but this album is just spot on, personally.
So that leads me to a question, unless you've got one, John, but I've got one that I wanted to ask, and it's an interesting debate. So, two questions. The first question, I suppose, is, on the UK scene, there's some definite sort of like genres from the old school. I'm not talking about now in hip hop. I'm talking about back then. Yeah. So you had the hardcore. And I know you've got a hardcore artist on your list. So we'll save that for later.
Two. Yeah. Well, okay, one maybe, definitely. All right, yeah.
Right. So one's definitely like out there hardcore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Where do you sit on hardcore versus the more soulful, funky side of UK hip hop? One way or the other? That's my first.
There's a time and a place for both. That's simple as that. I couldn't choose between both, because the next record that we do, if that's the one that you're probably thinking about, is what I'd class as the hardest one of these albums.
Right, yeah.
And well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna bring it up now, actually, if that's all right. So we've got this one, which is record 2.
See if it.
Oh, okay, all right, well, okay, all right, fine.
I've got another question.
But I could literally play. I could play this album, and then I could play the next album straight away.
Yeah.
And the love is there for both of them.
Yeah. So I'm the same. Obviously, I can listen to my Gunshot. Yeah, but I can also listen to my I'm looking at the album there, Outlaw Posse. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So, and it's funny because there's always this argument in my family, because my family love their jazz, and I'm not really a massive jazz fan on its own.
Yeah.
But I love jazz when it's mixed with hip hop. So like Gangstar.
Yeah.
Outlaw.
Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe Called Quest is. I'm not
a
fan of Tribe Called Quest, but I can listen to them. But it's not. They're not ones that not me go-to people. However, I do like my jazzy hip hop. Especially this time. The weather where it is now. I don't even listen to Angry Ice Cube, although he's one of my favorite rappers. It's not really the weather for me to be listening to Angry Ice Cube.
You want to shove a bit of Guru's Jazzmatazz on or something like that, don't you, really? Or even to bring up the brand new heavies, which I've already mentioned, is to shove on Heavy Rhyme Experience Volume 1.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you need. You need stuff like that.
Good album. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. And obviously, that's why I wanted to ask you that question. So that's my next question.
Yeah.
I just didn't want you to pollute it with that other album that you're going to bring out.
Okay.
It's within this context. So I've just mentioned Outlaw Posse, and actually I got to meet him. Rest in peace. Sorry, Ty, because he introduced me to Bello.
Right. Yeah.
Last year, and it was like the same week that my mum died. Actually, that I got to meet Bello B, and Ty was taking me around and introduced me to everybody in London.
Wow.
But the interesting fact is that there's always been this sort of argument about rappers rapping from the UK in American accents.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm bringing that up for is because obviously that album that you've got there is a definite sort of like Americanism. Yeah. Like, someone described it, I think I read it in some magazine or somewhere, where some rappers sort of rapped hardcore American accent and they've never changed. And some people sort of have like a hybrid where it was sort of like not quite UK, tried to be American, so it was sort of like halfway in the Atlantic somewhere, like stuck in the middle of the Atlantic. Do you know what I mean?
The drawl, right? Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? That's my first part of the question. My second part of the same question is, some artists aren't from London, but they rap in London accents, and that's happening more now, I think, with the younger ones. It happened with punk a lot. So a lot of the early punk bands that, if you think back to, I don't know if you're ever into punk stuff, but that was a similar sort of issue there. A lot of the punk artists used to rap with Cockney accents, but they weren't from London. So
right, okay, yeah. To be fair, I just take it as it comes, because it's like something, you know, take something completely out of context here. You watch an episode of one of the introductions of Britain's Got Talent or something like that, right? And you have this old lady come on, and then all of a sudden she sings opera and she's amazing. Yeah. It's that sort of thing. You don't know what's going to come out when you know. I don't know whether people put it on or whether that's just how they are because of the influence of what they've been listening to.
Right.
Do you see?
I get that, but I suppose my only issue is, you know, shout out to Bella B. You know, I chat to him on Instagram and stuff as well. He's kept in contact with us since. And it's great. I'm over the moon. They've got back together, the two of them, and they're bringing an album out. Yeah, it's coming out, I think, end of this month or something.
Okay, cool. 28th, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's it called?
I'll tell you 2 seconds. I've got you.
Well, John's looking for it, so that's great. I'm over the moon for that because I do like their albums. Very jazzy, very, you know. And it's,
yeah.
Go on, John. Go on.
19th of this month. It's called "Don't Call It a Comeback."
Next week, yes. Don't call it a comeback. They're on Instagram if you're interested, James, because they're always on there and they've been showing playing some of the stuff. Great, and don't get us wrong. You know, I've got loads of that 12 inches, and you know, I think I've got nearly everything that they've done either on vinyl or on CD. But I suppose the issue for me is, and it's, you know, again, you know, shout out to somebody from the Northeast. I'm not going to mention their name, but they'll rap in an American accent, but then when they're talking in between songs, then their Geordie accent comes on, and it just seems to be, it just feels weird. And that's, you know, and I think that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like,
yeah, fair enough.
When they're talking on stage and they're rapping in the American accent, and then they start talking like, you know, hi, you shout out to such and such, or they're saying this or that, or this is when your album. Then they're talking in the Cockney accent. It just feels a bit weird. That's what only thing.
I know what you mean.
But I still buy it. I'm gonna buy the Outlaw Posse's new album. Of course I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, because I've got all the other stuff, but it does feel a bit weird on that note.
Fair enough. I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, but I think you just got to take it as it is, really. So yeah.
Okay. So what's your favourite song on that album then?
Right, I've got to give a mention out to Fry Like Fish, but it's not that. It's I'm Ready.
Yeah.
Mine as well.
Absolutely cracker of a tune. Yeah, I mean, you can drop that as well at a party or whatever, and it's just, yeah, let's have it. So,
is Victor on that album? I can't remember. Is Victor on that album?
Yes, I think it is. Just double check. Yeah, it's the remix version. And the Fry Like Fish is the jazz remix as well on the album. And it is actually, you can tell that it's a lot different.
Yeah.
But yes, it's. I listened to it again recently in the last couple of days, just to sort of. I was quite enjoyed Desmond as well, which is the where they, I think it's either a friend or someone like that, where he's obviously passed away, and they're talking about this person.
Okay.
I don't know who it's actually about, but yeah, it's a great album. Really enjoyed that.
Nice one. Okay. He's one of them. What's he called again? Is it MCN?
You got MCM. You got the Principal, and who was the other one? I can't remember who it was now. I have to turn the light on, guys, because I can't even see what's going on.
That's all right.
There we go. Hey, there we go. Let's have a look, see if it tells me on here.
Did MCM not like some lost CDs or lost tapes or something?
Well, they did the second album, and then it's just gone completely quiet.
Yeah.
And I think one of them, I think it's the Principal. I mean, he obviously forgets his name or the fact that he loves himself, because he's got his name written on his jacket just there, if you can see that. Mark Lehman is this guy, MCM.
Yeah.
He's actually still doing stuff, but he released I think it's a double album or a really long mix, and it's remixes plus it's stuff that he'd I think it's only online only. MP3s, but cracking album. Even got a Caveman T-shirt as well.
Have you?
Yeah,
that's rare.
Yeah.
I've never seen one of them before. I think a few years ago I read. So I think because I was following them on Twitter, and
who MCN?
MCN, I think it was. I don't really go on Twitter much now, but he was bringing out. He was going to bring out a new album, but then it never happened or something. We're going to bring out a new sort of Caveman album. It was supposed
Does
to be,
my nut when they do that.
but then I think life takes over, doesn't it? It's not easy, I suppose. And you've got to work and feed kids,
Yeah, true.
and all that kind of stuff, I suppose. Where we as fans, we just think, oh, please, 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 but there's all kinds of stuff going on as well, isn't there? I suppose.
Yeah. You got to pay the mortgage or something, ain't you?
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for that.
It's all right.
Next album.
Okay, so we're going to stay in Buckinghamshire, which is where Kay ran from High Wycombe, just up the road.
Yep.
From Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire, right from the hood. We're going to go with a bit of Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet.
Bring Down the Walls, No Limit Squad returns, also released in 1991.
Yeah.
What a massive difference, right? From that, which is jazz orientated, to this, which is literally, I'm not joking you, High Wycombe to Aylesbury is about 15, 20 miles, 20, 25 miles max. It's not far at all. Might about that. But what a difference. And what this bloke did as well for UK hip hop at that time by releasing, Undercover Anarchist, but 20 Seconds to Comply, and using sample from RoboCop.
Yeah.
Is just genius. And the whole album, I'll tell you what I like about this, is the horror themes with Freddy Krueger sampled on it. There's themes from bits from Twilight Zone on there, and all the theme of like the darkness and things like that.
Like a cult.
Absolutely love it. Yeah. Love it. Now, here's a question for you guys. Now, I think someone mentioned this about fast rapping.
Yeah.
Was it mentioned on the last video about Daddy Fresh? And was it someone?
Daddy Freddy.
Daddy Freddie, they even died. Daddy Fresh. Right, Daddy Freddie, that's it. And he got there, I think at the time he got the Guinness Book of, in fact, he's in that Hip Hop Connection actually. He got the Guinness Book of Records for the fastest rap.
It was on Record Breakers.
It was on Record Breakers of Roy Castle, wasn't it? That's right, he was scratching his head going, what on earth is this? But you got to give you got to tip your hat and stuff to people who can rap that fast.
Yeah.
But I couldn't understand most of the stuff that he was saying, right? Now, Silver Bullet, ridiculously fast, but it doesn't turn into gibberish. So I could understand what he was saying and still computing in my head of what he's trying to get out there, which is what I liked about his rapping, because it's fast, but I could understand it.
I think that in Daddy Freddy's defense, the trouble with Daddy Freddy is it was Jamaican patois as well, so it wasn't straightforward English.
Right. Okay, that probably makes sense. Yeah.
Because of the English, you know what I mean? But it's an interesting debate because I remember at the time speaking to some of my fam back in America and stuff, and people I remember people always going on about it and laughing at the UK for how fast they rapped and saying it's not supposed to be rapped that fast. It should be more laid back like the Americans. Well, because they just said obviously they invented it and they used to say that it was too fast. But it's funny because then the Americans started trying to do double time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they still do it now, like Tongue Twister, all those people. And obviously it comes from the sort of Jamaican sound systems as well, that which is what I was talking about with Daddy Freddy and that, because quite a few of those Jamaican artists, the DJs as they used to call them, these used to toast quite fast as well.
Right.
And when you spring forward all the way to now, when you've got, I know it's starting to slide down a bit, but grime artists, when people go on about not liking grime, I always say to them, right, you might like the beats, but you can't front on the double time lyrics because that's what you used to listen to back in the day with the hardcore hip hop. You were in the hardcore hip hop. The beats per minute, the way they were rapping, or the music might not been as fast, but some of it was. But it's pretty akin to what the youngsters started doing with grime. And I don't understand why.
That's very true. I suppose stuff like would you class Onyx as part of things like that as well? Because they were quite fast. They were hard.
Fast, but they weren't sort of double time with the lyrics. They'd shout it, but then would stop for a breath.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Non-stop Spitfire. You know what I mean? I think the difference between the UK stuff for me mainly was they didn't stop for a breath. So when you think of some of the some of the gunshots first album, it's just non-stop.
Oh yeah. It's constantly
That's
In fact, do you know what? I saw Gunshot live. I'm trying to think what year it had been. About 90. When did Patriot Games come out? Was it about 95? 94.
94, 95, yeah.
Yeah, about that, yeah. And it was just after the album came out, and I saw them. They played in Oxford. at the Jericho Tavern, and I was up there, and they were just relentless. Bang, like this all the time, and there was no real gaps between the songs. Bang, straight on, straight into the next one. It was performance. It was amazing, you know. And yeah, that's one album I haven't got on vinyl, Patriot Games, but I've got all the 12 inches.
Ooh,
I've got all those.
I've got it somewhere. Yeah.
Battle Creek Brawl. I've got the whole lot here somewhere. Gunshot. Where are we? Jeez, here we go.
James, have you heard? Did you hear the new single that they released at the beginning of the year?
I did hear it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
really
I did.
good,
Did you? I didn't buy it, but yeah, I heard it online, and yeah, I thought they did really well. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it's not up there with Patriot Games personally, but that's because you've grown up with it, I suppose. But yeah, fair play to them.
Because I'm sure Gunshot were one of the first hip hop bands I saw live in Newcastle.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So and I've done the seem to be in Newcastle used to come in maybe every few months. I must have seen about 4 or 5 times in Newcastle.
Where was that? John Riverside?
Yeah, Riverside, and I'm sure they did the Uni as well, and Northumbria Uni.
That's the old Riverside, is it?
It's the original one on Melbourne Street.
Yeah. See, that was before me. Before I got up here, I know the new Riverside, but I've never been to the old one. So
the old one was brilliant. It's like, it was that hot. All the sweat used to drip on you from the ceiling and everything. It was it was minging.
I love venues like that.
There, but anyway, yeah, I've got it somewhere. I've got it on CD, and I've also got it on on vinyl as well.
Yeah, it's a great album. So yeah, it's good.
Is where one of the first places I started working on the door.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, one thing which do you know what? I only found out about this literally in the last probably year or so is the fact that the Brand New Heavies are sampled on this as well.
Are they?
Yeah, it's they sample B&H, which is the Brand New Heavies, is the track B&H on one of them, and you've got to listen out for it, but I didn't even realise. And then it's one of these albums I can listen to and go, hold on a minute, and I've just got to take it back and I've got to listen to it, and it's just little bits, and you know, I loved it. And even though I've always got a love for a bit of 20 Seconds with a bit of Robocop, favourite track on this, Legions of the Damned, in the middle of the side 2, absolutely fantastic. And again, it's dark, it's horror themed, brilliant, love it.
I love Bring Forth the Guillotine, Melee.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, great tune.
That just gets me dance on that, like, you know.
It's a great tune. It's a great tune.
I can't see anything. I know I can't dance. Yeah, I can't dance and all of that. But yeah, I've got to get me dance on when I have Bring Forth the Guillotine, like.
Oh, it's a
I'm just going to put my lights on. 2 seconds. Oh.
And then the other thing which I'm gutted about for Silver Bullet is the fact that he didn't do anything else after this. Supposedly he produced another album. It was never released. Yeah. He came back as Silver with Silvah, Silver Bullet that way. Never. I think he sort of did a few bits on a couple of 12 inches of other people's, but he's never actually come back and done anything.
About 10 years ago, he was on Facebook and I used to talk to him.
Oh, really? Right, okay.
Then all of a sudden he just turned a bit weird and just started doing loads of ramblings and stuff like that. I wasn't sure if he had mental health problems or not.
Oh dear.
He just seemed to be just a bit, I might be wrong, maybe that's just weird, but he just seemed to just sort of like, he just started being angry with everybody and telling everybody to F off. And
that's a shame.
Yeah, so, yeah, just...
But brilliant legacy behind him anyway, so it's a cracking album. So, yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Also, here's a point for you. I've been with my wife, Sarah, for 25 years this year. We've been together, right? And she had this when I first met her. I think she had it on tape. And along with a video of Hellraiser, and there was something else that she had as well in her collection. There was Silver Bullet. I thought, yeah, you're the one for me. So, yeah, I had to be done.
Choose your wife on record collection. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't tell her what I spend on records, but you know that, Fred.
Boy, stop grassing me up. I don't spend anything. I get them all from Bargain Basement.
Do you? Right, okay. Charity shops. Yeah, of course you do. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, nice one.
There you go.
John?
No, because The only thing I'm very surprised at about Caveman and Silver Bullet, I thought they were from London. I never knew that they weren't from London.
It's just, well, I mean, Buckinghamshire is just literally just on the other side of the M25.
Yeah.
High Wycombe is spitting distance from the M25. Aylesbury's a bit further into Bucks. Yeah, what makes me laugh is this is back in the day, no mobile phones. There's no internet. I didn't even realise at that time that these guys were, 40 minutes down the road from me in Oxford.
Yeah,
that's nothing, and at that time I was driving as well, and if I could have found out more whether they were performing, never saw Silver Bullet, never saw Caveman, it would have been amazing at those times to actually sort of push the boundaries a little bit of coming out of the Oxford area and sort of, I went to London for gigs. It was either London or Oxford or Birmingham sort of thing. That was it. But I didn't realise at the time they were just up the road.
I think you've hitting something there as well, James, that we sometimes talk about, and it's like when you were a hip hop fan or a music fan, not just a hip hop fan, but when you were a music fan back in the day, you had to hunt out your music.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used to have to go to the record shop on a Saturday morning to find out what was latest in, because you didn't always know. The hip hop collection came out once a month, and that always seemed to be something's behind a bit. You know what I mean? And that was the only magazine at one point. You know what I mean? It was the only magazine. Before Hip Hop Connection came out, you had to get like Record Mirror that had a little bit of a section that had a bit of rap, early rap in there.
Yeah. It's 21 hours.
Melody Maker or Sounds or what was the other one? NME.
Melody Maker. Every now and again they put something in there and whatever. But yeah.
Especially the little pet sounds that they liked. And British stuff used to get a lot of slagged off. Do you know what I mean? I remember when they used to really slag into a lot of the British stuff. Rebel MC used to get a real hard time back in the day,
he did. Well, I'm going to be honest with you now. Here we go. Rebel MC. Double Trouble in the Rebel MC. Now, I have on Series Link, Top of the Pops on BBC 4 or wherever it is, right? Just because it takes me back. It's a bit of fun. I go back. A lot of it's fast forward because it's just naff. But a lot of it's actually quite fun to watch again and you go, what on earth are you still doing in 1989, Cliff Richard, and blah, 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 all these sort of things, right? But every now and again you go, oh, yeah. And at the time, Double Trouble in Rebel MC wasn't for me at all. To me, that was chart. That was, to me, at the time, me and my mates, he was cashing in, right? Yeah. But you look back on it now, and he wasn't at all. He was proper. He was in there at the start with most of the others, with Derek B and everyone else. And you don't realise because there was no internet, you didn't know all this unless you knew. And it wasn't in.
I'll tell you an interesting fact. So, just what you just said there about the Rebel MC, I think when you look back as well, you realise that he actually he was ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Experimenting, do you know what I mean? He was taking the sounds where he was from. He's from Tottenham. He was listening to the older Rastas playing their tunes, and he was like trying to make it more modern to try and sort of water it down, but trying to make it more palatable to the young people that were, as he was coming up. Yeah. And I think where he got his slating from was because he started obviously passing that sound to. He influenced the the Demon Boys and their sound. Do you know what I mean? Which we now know as jungle and drum and bass. But he was on that first curve of doing that.
Oh yeah. Well, what does he do now? What does he do now? Congo-Natty, isn't he? Yeah, that's right. And look at the stuff he's producing now. It's mint. It's absolutely fantastic. Again, that was one thing. Didn't he play up with you guys in Newcastle a couple of years ago or something? Recently, Congo-Natty was up there.
He was at World Headquarters about 2 years ago.
Yeah, unfortunately I couldn't make it. I was gutted because I want to see him, up there doing it.
Yeah. He changed his name from Rebel MC at first to Conquering Lion, I think his name was Conquering Lion before.
That's right, it was. Yeah, and he released stuff like that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But I think he got a lot of stick. But when you look back now, like you say, in hindsight, you think actually he was making a very British sound. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yes.
At the time was still trying to we've just been talking, being American accents and stuff like that. He was making a very British sound and making a very conscious thing. And as you know, I used to be a boxer, and I remember one of the lads that I used to train with and spar with, and that. He was picked to be on the England team for amateur boxing and then as a pro. And he used to go down to London a lot and obviously train with the guys down in London, the top guys. And he came back one day, I got this tape for you, Fred. You want this tape? And I go, the Rebel MC, I know you like your rap music. And yeah, he's all right. I've got a couple of his stuff. It's all right for in the club. Do you know what I mean? Because when I used to go to the club, I work in the bar. The stuff they were playing was all pop stuff. And Rebel MC was probably the closest I could listen to in a club and to like. And he goes, oh, listen to this. And I took it to him. And I forgot about it. I just saw it to Rebel MC, whatever. And then I used to go running with me Sony Walkman on, which I've still got incidentally.
Nice.
I put my tape in. I started running. And I was like, what is this? And it was like, obviously the next. So, when the Rebel MC first came, he was with Double Trouble, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
It was the next album after that. And there was lots of stuff on there and stuff like that.
It was a lot more reggae influenced, I think, the second side, wasn't it? The Rebel MC solo. Yeah, it was, yeah.
And the start of what we now know is like sort of drum and bassy, sort of like jungle. It was jungle, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing about the Silver Bullet album is the fact that I felt that you could probably play that because it was so fast. You could play that at rave, alongside rave, and people would still be, going for it. And
it was massive in the rave scene. It was massive in the rave scene. Yeah. Okay, nice one. That's the Silver Bullet. Next.
My next one. Okay, right. Well, first of all, I'm going to have to bring up a couple of things, first of all. I'm going to bring up 5 things before I bring up this. 5, Fred, 5. Right, you ready for this? Right, so here we go. So, first of all, I know we're all friends with him on Facebook as well, and you probably know who I'm going to be choosing next. This man constantly gave 110%, this guy, and I've got to give massive respect because I've done a bit of homework on this one as well, not just choosing this album, because I've also got, so that first of all, the man is Blade, right? Yeah. He's a legend, right? An absolute legend, this man. And not only have I got like all his 12 inches, right? First of all, right?
Dig into that, John. See how he's cheating, John. See how he's cheating.
Look at him. I'm getting them all in quickly. Look at this, Riddler. Look at this, Riddler. Look at how many I've got here. Look. I've got all 5. Right, so I've got all 5 of these 12 inches, right? Before the album, which I'm now choosing, which is The Lion Goes From Strength to Strength, No Compromise, 1993, right? Blade. Now, you look back on this here, on the track listing, there is only one track, which is Grip of the Pitbull, okay? There was only one track on the album from those 12 inches. Yes. So all the stuff that he's done on 5 12 inches before the album comes out are all original songs, and then he comes out not with a single album, only a flipping double album. Wrong way around. There he is. There he is. Right. It's a double hip hop album in 1993 by a UK artist. Yeah. What on earth is going on in 1993? No one's done this. Have they? By then, I don't think anyone has released a double album.
I can't think of anybody.
No, exactly. And there's not many people now who would still release a double hip hop album, right?
Well, now if they were releasing an album now, it would be a double album. It's just on CD or whatever, and it's just long, isn't it? It's like 19 songs.
Yeah, but it's not this. It's not this. This is amazing. This is unbelievable. Now, first of all, I met Blade, right? I met Blade at a gig, and I think it was before this album, and I had a couple of his 12 inches, and I think it was via somewhere like Hip Hop Connection, or when I used to go into London, I used to go to 4 Star General. Do you remember 4 Star General? Yeah, General George. Okay, there you go, right? So I used to go in on the coach with my mates, with Naughty Neil, he was back then with us again, and then there's G, and we used to go in, and we used to be absolutely crapping ourselves going into London. We used to shove all the money down the side of our shoes, in our socks, thinking we're going to get mugged every time we go into London. Anyway, went to Camden, went to Soul to Soul, and on Tottenham Court Road, and we also go to 4 Star General. So go to 4 Star General. I'm sure it was there actually that I found the address for how to buy direct from Blade, and you would literally send him a check. Yeah. That's it. Now, I was a student at this time, so I'm trying to think. 1990, I was at college. I had a job at Domino's Pizzas on the back of the, delivering the pizzas on my bike, right? And so money to me was, you had to make sure that you spent it right, or you saved up to go into London and spend. And I took the chance and I sent a check to Blade at 691 Influential, which is his record label. PO Box 552 London SWT 1TP. He's even got his flipping telephone number on here, man. I mean, he's got his telephone number on an album, you know what I mean? Anyway, I sent the check and I got 12 inches back. I was just like, this is amazing. And then I met him. So he was supporting, and I'm sure it was Credit to the Nation. And I'm sure there was 3 bands. I want to say someone like Asian Dub Foundation.
Yeah.
Someone like that. Anyway, so he was first on. Blade was first on. Okay. And I collared him literally after, and I said to him, I've got a couple of 12 inches. And at the time, I wouldn't have even thought about taking 12 inches to get signed. Now I don't care. I'll just take stuff with me and get signed by anyone. But I said to him, I've got a couple of 12 inches. I said, what's happening next? He said, I've got an album coming out. He said, send me some more money. He said, I'll send you the album. So I did, knowing that I wasn't going to get fleeced. And because I genuinely, at the time, I didn't think I was going to get anything back for my money. And lo and behold, this is the album. And it's absolutely cracking. Of course, he went on from this. He produced a fantastic The Unknown album with Mark B. Rest in peace on him. Again, I saw him live with Mark B. The man just performs. He's just amazing. And the history of the bloke as well, and what he's gone through. And the fact that he was selling 12 inches in this album from the back of his car, and he's best mates with Stereo MCs as well.
Is he? All right.
And he still gives them their dues. I think there was something on Facebook last week or a couple of weeks ago, and he shared something about Rob B from Stereo MCs about his new home stereo space and things like that. And the man's just a nice bloke, from what I can gather. And of course, you had him at the Bridge, didn't you?
We did, yeah. Interesting thing about for Blade was that I never was struck with him when I first heard him.
Why?
I think at the time it was one of those, because I was a bit sick of UK artists not sounding UK, and I mistook his accent. I didn't realise where he was from, that he wasn't. His accent's not from here.
No, isn't he Armenian?
Armenian. Yeah, is it Armenia?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But I didn't
stuck in school for ages, wasn't he?
Well, yes, you went to boarding school, didn't you, or something?
Yeah.
But I didn't know that, and it's what we were talking about before about the internet. I think you don't know all these things. You can't Google it. You can't go on Wikipedia and
right, yeah.
Out. So I just heard a song and just thought, he's trying to be American. That's what I thought it was. Do you know what I mean? I didn't realise that. And then my friend was saying, "Listen, you need to listen to him. You need to listen to him." And I was like, yeah. Then I started sort of liking something. I was like, this is all right. And then what happened was, Rodney P was supposedly booked to play at the Sage in Gateshead. So me, like a fool, took the night off work to work on the door and went there with me mate, Ruben Fletcher. Shout out to Ruben Fletcher. And we were standing there waiting, and there was other people there that I knew and chatting on to them and that. And then there was a rumour come round that Rodney P wasn't going to turn up. And I was livid.
Oh.
Because this thing goes backwards and forwards that Rodney P wasn't even really booked. It was a promoter who said he was booked but hadn't booked him. So I was foaming me. I was like, I want my money back. And then the next thing you know, the door opens and then in walks Blade. Blade just starts walking around, shaking everybody's hand. He come across with you and say, mate, it's not my fault. Don't give a screw face, because I had a screw face on, I'll use it well, but I'm not happy at a gig. I'm not happy.
You turn around, face the opposite direction.
I was foaming. I was like, I've had to get my son looked after.
Yeah.
I used to have my son every weekend. I've had my son looked after, and I normally would work on the door. Do you know what I mean? So I've lost money. I'm going to have to give my son's mum a maintenance. Do you know what I mean? And I'm a loser all round, because I'm also going to have to fight to get my money back off this ticket as well. He walks in, and I just wasn't in the mood to be seen. But he come across, he saw my face, and he knew, and he come straight through the crowd, shook me hand, says, I've just come to, someone's give us a ring at the last minute. I bombed up here to try and save the show.
Wow.
I've always had respect for him ever since after that.
Yeah. And did he perform on the night? Was he good?
I didn't stay, to be honest. I stayed for a couple of the songs and I left. I was that annoyed anyway, but I had respect for him on that level because of that.
Yeah.
I just thought, respect to you, it's not your fault. And you've been rang up the last minute and you bombed up yet to save the day. You can't.
It's not exactly up the road either, is it?
No, it's not. So you can't front on that at all. And I've had mega respect for him ever since. And another interesting fact is when we were bringing out the Keep the Faith CD, the first original one,
Yeah, got
that. I didn't realise it was him, but it was company Quickburn.
Is that right?
Work, and obviously I couldn't get it to fit into the actual design to fit into the template. He talked over the phone with us, he sorted it all out, and got it all sorted for us. It was just
excellent.
Yeah, so I've got nothing but respect for him, to be fair.
I've
been watching him a lot on Facebook recently, and he's up to something.
He is, isn't he? Yeah, he is up to something. Yeah, because the thing with his son's band, his son's group, they sort of
0521.
That's it, 0521. Yeah, I don't know what's happened there, but it's sort of gone a bit there, and now he's onto something else, and he was wiping some floor down or something.
Watching the floor, there was wires hanging off the ceiling. So, is it a recording studio? Is it?
He was sleeping in a skip as well.
He was, wasn't he?
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, bizarre, very bizarre. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, it's a shame that he doesn't still drop some rhymes. I don't know whether I don't know what his reason for retiring was completely out of the game. I'm not too sure, but he's always going to get a bit of love from me, and I'd love to see him to perform again.
So shout out the Blade, respect the Blade.
Very much so, very much so.
Okay, so you must be down to your last album now, are you?
Well, I know. Should I tell you my favourite track first, Fred?
You can tell us the track, yeah. Okay, go on. Keep us right.
First of all, I've got to give out the shout out to Dark and Sinister with Mellow, because that tune is just brilliant. But my actual favourite track is Take It to the Edge.
Right, remind me, just before...
Take It to the Edge is, I think it's on side... Oh, where is it again? Can't even find it on there now. I can't even read.
Which album is it?
Side 2, the end of side 2.
What's that album called, sorry?
The Line Goes From Strength to Strength.
Yeah.
It's Take It to the Edge, and it's quite a hard track, but again, it's quite upbeat. It's sort of, it's probably more of the upbeat tracks of it. Just brilliant. It's a great album.
Nice one.
Right, so okay, so that's that one.
1 second. Go on, John.
I was going to say, before how you mentioned Asian Dub Foundation.
Yeah.
Do you know they're releasing a new album next month?
Have they got another one as well? I know they're still going. Well. Yeah. I'll tell you what, fair play to the guys, because they're still on the festival lineups and they're still doing what they need to do. Mm-hmm. So, they played the Sage, haven't they? I think they've done sort of quite well. I'm sure they've played the small.
I've never seen them before.
The Sage.
I've never seen them live. Like.
Right, okay. I've seen them a couple of times.
It's only one real main person now, anyway, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Right, well.
On the new album cover, I think there's 6 of them.
Yeah, but I mean, the one that's been a surviving member all the way through, I think there's only one is the main one.
Right, gotcha, right.
I can't remember his name. Funny enough, he used to be the drummer in The Cult, I think.
Did he?
Yeah.
In The Cult?
Yeah, he's from Bradford, and that's obviously where The Cult are from. The Southern Death Cult. Well, the Southern Death Cult, then there were Death Cult, and then there were The Cult. Yeah.
Right.
He was in the original lineup. I think he was the drummer.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Didn't know that, so there we go. Oh, okay. Right, so my last album then, I'm going to take you back to Hip Hop Connection again. November 1989. You remember these guys, the Fat Boys? Yay! They're Fat Boys on there. But November 1989, This, number 10, this is, of all of them. And there was always, in every bit later on in Hip Hop Connection, they always had a page where it was talking about what's coming up and what people are sort of on the line about to break,
Yeah.
And there we go, Hijack breaking through. There they are.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I absolutely love this album. This is, I mean, you've got to, here we go, The Horns of Jericho. I mean, it's absolutely killer album. It really is. Now, I've got a quick short story about this. I used to have the original album, right, from 1991. But when children came along, I needed cash, right? And so I sold quite a lot of hip hop. And one of them was to a very lucky person in Amsterdam, and he bought quite a lot off me. And one of them was Horns of Jericho, original album. But to be fair, I did get, and this would have been 2004, I did get about 70 quid for that album. And back then, that's actually quite good going.
75 quid standard now for that album.
I know. Well, this one is the one which was released 2015, I think it is.
Is that the double one?
Triple album. Triple. So it's blue, red, and yellow.
Yeah.
So yes, it's all there. But and so with the extra disc, it's got some original mixes and some demos and stuff. But this album.
So which album is that? Is that the DJ Supreme one? Is that the?
It is.
Okay, because they both brought it out again.
DJ Supreme.
Yeah.
Was there another one?
I think Mr. Pink and Mr. Blonde brought out their version of the Horns of Jericho. I might be wrong, but I think they did something as well.
Didn't they be on Reservoir Records, which was their label?
Yes, I think it might
that's
be.
right. Yeah, this one is on the Naked 8 Records. This is this one here. But so it's a gatefold, so it comes in with various different lovely pictures on the inside as well.
Look at that clothes, man. Look at that clothes. Look at them puffer jackets, man.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Do you know what? When I saw that picture in Hip Hop Connection, which is realistically is that picture there, and I so wanted one of those jackets.
Yeah.
Could I find one in Camden? No. Could I find one on Tottenham Court Road, Carnaby Street? No. I'll tell you what, I don't know where they got them from.
They got them from America. They're American then. Definitely American.
Oh, is that what it was? Right. Absolutely killer. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And that's what we wanted.
Brian and all of that. They went to America, so I would have thought they got it in America.
Yeah, most probably. Yeah, I mean, even on the back, sort of still in the gas mask, and that was before Slipknot. So but absolutely brilliant. But I mean, the fact that they'd come out with Style Wars and Hold No Hostage, which first of all blew everyone away anyway. I mean, they're behind you there, aren't they?
John, there we go.
That's it. Yeah, nice. The fact that they, I came out, what is this? What's going on? Automatically pulled into their world. Comanche Sly's vocals so hard, and the fact that they were just like hard beats with DJ Supreme, absolutely fantastic. And then they get signed by Ice-T from Rhyme Syndicate coming through, and the fact that they got that Bad Man as Robin then came out, and then it all fell apart. What on earth? Rhyme Syndicate collapsed. And then where was the album? What's going to happen? And then eventually it got bought out by Warner's. I think Warner Brothers it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was it Sire Records, wasn't it?
Sire Records.
Was it Sire? Was it?
Sire,
yeah, but that's part of Warner's, though, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. But just the fact that it was the subjects about don't go with strangers.
Yeah.
That stuff had never ever been put. Well, it didn't get talked about in 1991 anyway, but the fact that it was actually on vinyl, or I was just like, what are you talking about? All this sort of stuff, extremely important UK hip hop record, in my opinion. And give them all the praise it deserves. End of.
Interesting.
Okay.
No, because I think that's my favourite UK hip hop album ever.
Right. So, I'm not saying that's my favourite UK hip hop album. I'm saying it's one of my favourite 5.
Right. it'll change tomorrow.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But no,
because the other thing with me is because we used to box and obviously drove a car quite early on compared to a lot of others with being older. I used to buy a lot of CDs as opposed to vinyl. So a lot of my albums that I really, really like, I haven't got on vinyl. So when John and Riddler interview me for my top 5, I'm going to have to pick the 5 that I've got on vinyl because it's about the vinyl, which is a bit of a shame because I have got some stuff that I want to be able to talk about that's on CD. So I might cheat and do a CD one sometime in the future as well. But
got plenty of CDs as well.
I've got thousands, absolutely thousands of CDs, ridiculous amounts. Not copies either, proper CDs, Yeah. But for me, Hijack's a funny one because again, at the time, I was trying to move away from artists that sounded American. So I love the beats and stuff, but I couldn't always get away with Comanche Slide's voice. You know what I mean? And that kind of like American twang to it. I do like them. Don't get us wrong. I've got the album. I do play. John will tell you, I do like it. But I would put other people in front of them only because they rapped in British accents, and that's something that I held dearly at this because I was wanting to be proud of them to be British. And obviously, when people like London Posse, you know, came out and did that and influenced a lot of others. And also, there's other artists that I also think about that I weren't from London, and I tended to go for them a lot more as well, like the Ruthless Rap Assassins or Crispy 3.
You know, I was just about to mention, I've got that album on vinyl as well. What a cracking debut album. Absolutely, yeah.
Never get mentioned either, but to me, it's up there with any of the top ones, you know.
Oh, totally, yeah. I could have easily put them in my top 5, but it's hard to try and select 5. But don't even ask me, John, to say my number 1 is, because that's not...
Okay, well, we're there. So I don't forget this time, what's your favourite single up there?
Well, I've already mentioned Star Wars, Hold No Hostage and whatever, but I'm going to go with an album track, and it's Murder in the First Degree.
Okay.
Absolutely blinding. I think it's just, it's in your face. It's good story behind it, but yeah, just, again, the beats by Supreme are just whatnot.
Yeah. Nice
so,
one.
yeah.
What have you felt about Supreme's other stuff? Like, you know, obviously he had Backbone Records, and he's got, what's the dude called?
He does stuff with Ice Pick and...
he did that one with Ice-T as well. Was it last year or the year before? It was all right. It was okay. It was okay.
I wasn't feeling it. The Ice Pick album is mint. Obviously, the R.I.P. with Son of Noise, and also the remix.
Yeah. In Q-Rock, yeah.
It was the Q-Rock, Vice Diggy, Dirty Goods. Who else is in it? Who's the other?
You know what? It's totally...
Rams
and Bad Bones. Straight for Q-Rock anyway on that one.
Yeah. Rams and Bad Bones. Yeah. It's just an absolute... That is a proper... I play that when I'm teaching boxing. It's got, you know, that's proper hardcore track. That, or when I'm training myself, kicking the bag or whatever. It's a mint track, that.
Excellent. Fair play. So that's 5 albums, all within a 4-year period as well. That's all 89 to 93.
Okay.
So you got to think of the fact that there was so much more coming on as well. Yeah. As well, that's just UK, and then you got the US stuff coming in, and you're like, it's just so much going on in that period. It was definitely a golden era. It was.
Thanks for that. Just going to round it up because we've been on for a while now. Very, very interesting choice. I want you to go away and think about the USA ones, because we're going to come back at some point, probably in about a month.
Okay.
And give you a shout to come back with the USA ones. Thanks for sharing. Obviously, you can see behind you that you're a proper vinyl vandal, because you've got an extensive record collection there. That's what we like to see. Just to round things up. So thanks again, James. Hopefully when COVID's out, we will we'll try and hook up and sort some kind of shows out, because, you know, I think
definitely
we all deserve it. We deserve it ourselves, but also obviously all the hip hop loving, music loving people deserve something as well. We're going to also shout out. So we'll shout out the forum, but I'll let you do that in a second. Shout out to all the original Vinyl Vandals out there. So it's John and Julie, obviously myself and John. Please get at us. Let us know what you think. If you've got a record collection, get at me or John, Julie, or Riddler. Let us know. Okay. Please don't forget, Riddler's on every Monday night from 8 till 9. And one day, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a live straight after, where we'll go on Facebook and you can ask Riddler some questions about his live slot, and you can just, you know, go on and quiz him about that. Please spread the word, because we want to get the numbers up. You know, we're trying to, not just for our show at 8 o'clock, but for Tri Radio in general, because it's a Northeast-based show, and we can, you know, we need to support the Northeast. Okay. Just behind me here, shout out to the Trainer Detective. Shout out to start again, can't even say it right. Shout out to, not easy to say when you got a lisp. Shout out to Fathead Asher, one of the original trainer detectives with me. And we're always looking for people's trainer collections. So if you've got a trainer collection, please get at us. We're always interested in people's trainers. But we're also interested in people's record collections as well. So please give us a shout. Have you got anything else to say, John?
I can't afford trainers, Fred. Can't afford trainers.
I'm not surprised with all those records. John, you got any last words?
No.
Yeah,
No, thank you, James. It's been good. I've enjoyed it.
Pleasure.
And that record collection, I need to have a look through that, to be honest.
It's not just hip hop. We can do that on another.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if there's some acid jazz notes on there. I'll be happy.
Oh yeah. You're welcome anytime.
Any last words from you, James, before we go?
No, thanks very much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed it, and I'd love to come back and do a USA one. Unfortunately, I can't do DOC because Riddler's already.
You can do
that
it.
one, so I'll have to come up with something else.
You can do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want.
No, I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to repeat. No, it's done. It's done.
There's only so many classics, so in the end, people are going to have to come and repeat the ones that have already.
There's plenty. There's plenty to choose from, Fred. Plenty.
Okay. On that note, it's goodbye from me. Hello.
There you go. Goodbye from me.
And me, John. See you later.
Peace.
Take care.